Keto and Krime, Keto and Krime. We uncover the grime on Keto and Krime. Keto and Krime, Keto and Krime. Now is the time for Keto and Krime.
Hey everyone, Tracy here from Keto and Krime. Thank you so much to every single one of my patrons and channel members. You make this possible. And you're one of the reasons I do this. And I thank you from the bottom of my heart. And if I haven't said it before, thank you. I'll sing it. Thank you. Thank you for hanging in there with me and letting me geek out, not making fun of me like a lot of other people do, because I like weird stuff about crime and dark history. Thanks everyone. Hey everyone, Keto and Krime here with breaking news. Brittney Griner, as you know, she is the American Women's National Basketball Association star, two-time Olympic gold medalist in women's basketball that has been that was arrested in Russia for possession of hash oil, CBD oil, and has been held in a jail near Moscow. She pled guilty last month to the charge, admitting that, yes, she did have the cannabis oil in her baggage, but it was left there inadvertently. Now, she's been playing basketball in Russia for a long time. I will restate, she should know the laws. But today, a judge has read her sentence, and it is 9 years. 9 years in a Russian prison, and it's going to be at hard labor too. Now, do I think she broke Russian law and should have very carefully checked her baggage? Yes. Do I think she was foolish in what she did? Yes. Do I think she is foolish to claim that she's some sort of political prisoner? Mostly. I think with the situation with Ukraine and Russia, Vladimir Putin is going to stick it to the West, particularly the United States, as much as possible, because he doesn't like us. And so I think possibly their lack of urgency on doing anything about this is probably A, because she's an American, and B, she is a celebrity in Russia, and C, we are supplying Ukrainian counter-Russian forces to defend their freedom. So, yeah, I think it's a little bit of all of that. Do I think she's a 100% pure political prisoner? Do I think she would be in this situation if she had not foolishly left cannabis oil in her bag? No. I think she would be there playing basketball per normal if that had not happened. So she was her own catalyst, but I do think that the international ramifications have something to do with how this case is being drawn out. But 9 years, y'all. And as an American, where we now live in a country where full-on weed, not just CBD, I mean, CBD oil you can buy at any convenience store, but full-on weed is legal in roughly half the states for recreation and legal in another quarter of the states for medical. And even in those like my home state of Tennessee, where it is still illegal recreationally, they're working on the medical part. It has been decriminalized by most towns and cities, which means if you get caught with it under 1 ounce, what's typically for personal use, you're going to get a ticket and a fine. It's kind of like, having an open beer container in front of your house too close to the sidewalk kind of thing. So as an American who now sees people with the amount of cannabis that she had getting a ticket, do I think this is an egregiously overshot sentence? Yes. But Russian law actually called for 10 years at a maximum, so giving her near the maximum, I think, is definitely a political play, bar none. So, do I think this is egregious? Yes, but it's not my law. I'm not a Russian legislature. I'm not on Vladimir Putin's staff. I'm not an oligarch. I have no business making Russian law, so they can certainly do what they want to do. It's their country. But do I think that's a bit excessive? Yes. As somebody with very libertarian leaning values, I think most of the time the drug war on drugs has failed, and I think that the fact that we're being flooded with Chinese fentanyl right now over the Mexican border is indicative of how we just can't stop it. So I think freeing people that have just been convicted of using is probably the best step. Freeing our prison systems of those, getting them into treatment where they belong, and then putting the real kingpins behind bars is the best way. But I could get into all kinds of rants about the government involvement in the war on drugs and how they often profit from it. So, yeah. But do I think this is a massively overblown sentence? Absolutely. And I'm sure it's because she is an American. But maybe hope is on the horizon, because the Biden administration has June working on a plan to swap to get both Brittney Griner and former U.S. Marine Paul Whelan out of Russian prison by exchanging a former arms dealer, Victor Bout, for them. Now, do I want to see Victor Bout get out of prison? No, I think he ought to rot there. But that has been the plan in works, and Russia has basically came back with an answer of no, they want somebody else. So we're going to see this potential prisoner swap take several more months before it's ever finalized. I just hope Brittney Griner and Paul Whelan are home by Christmas. I think that's probably going to be the timeline, and it also, I think, depends on how the war goes and just what mood Vladimir Putin is, what way the wind blows, what hair he has on his body before we get there. And the fact that now Nancy Pelosi's trip to Taiwan, which I support the free government of Taiwan, absolutely, but I think it was the wrong time for her to go. I could get into that, but I understand that we couldn't bow down to Chinese threats. So we've got all of that going on now, and China doing live fire exercises and Vladimir Putin backing them up. So we're essentially drawing that line between East and West, just like we did in the 80s with the Cold War, and I think we're getting back into that situation. So this is going to be a long-standing, drawn-out thing. And it's only if world leaders can take the views of us average citizens around the world and just want to live in peace that anything like this is ever going to get solved. But anyway, that's the latest and the greatest. I will be back soon with part 2 of Obscure Horror Films with Mike Harlow and Carrie Smith, as well as I'm still working on the Murdo deep dive, but I also have 2 videos planned for next week that are going to be great, I think, and I think you're going to enjoy them. And with that being said, I'll be back soon. Until next time, Keto and Krime.